Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Wednesday. It's June 18th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And real quickly, just a reminder: tomorrow is a trading holiday, so no trading tomorrow. The market's actually open till noon or something. But if you've heard me mention it before, don't try to trade it. You'll just be wasting your time. What'll happen is you'll probably get stuck in a trade and have to exit with a loss because you can't get out of it or whatever. But so I highly recommend not trading on those half trading day holidays when it's not completely closed, but it closes at noon. There's just nothing going on because nobody will be trading for the most part. So I suggest you take a day off like most traders will. That most professional traders will be off tomorrow. So I'll be taking off the day off for certain. So no mid morning chart and no chart lesson tomorrow. And then I don't do one on Fridays anyway. So this is going to wrap it up for the week. Short week this week. I don't think we'll have another holiday till July 4th, which it'll probably be here before you can blink an eye too. So it's just amazing how fast the days are flying by. So anyway, let's get to the chart lesson. You can see just another sideways. We're just working sideways right now. We're not really selling off, but we're not really going any higher. We're just kind of up and down. Today looked like it was going to be a range day. We did break out, but it failed pretty quickly and prices got back in the range. And we just chopped along around the middle of the range for the most part. And when I say that, I'm talking about the overnight highs and lows. And you'll see that when we flip over to the 2000 tick chart. But just not much at all going on today. Just kind of sideways action. Um, but let's flip over there and take a look, and we'll go through the trades. And it was an FOMC announcement day too, so you needed to be flat, or when I say flat by noon on FOMC days, if you're already in a trade, that's fine. Just don't take any new trades after noon, and wait till the market settles down after the news. Wasn't much. It didn't amount to much today. But the reason you want to be flat that hour is and not getting any new trades is because a lot of times the market will get in a real thin, tight trading range, and you'll get into a trade and can't get out. You won't get stopped out, but you won't hit your target either, and then you'll have to exit by the time the news comes out because you don't want to get stuck in there then. You don't want to be have a live trade going on when the news comes out because you'll get burned in a New York second. It costs you a lot of money. So just be flat. If you're already in a trade and you want to carry it into the noon hour, just manage it closely. You'll probably be okay. Just don't take any new trades and make sure you're flat before, don't take any new trades after noon time, Central Standard Time, and don't don't be completely flat. Make sure you're completely flat by before the 1 o'clock news comes. I would say a quarter till would be as close as I would push it. So anyway, let's flip over there to the other chart and take a look, and we'll go from there. Okay, here's our chart. You can see we blocked off the noon to about 115 or 120 or so. We had a little bit of movement there. Not a whole lot, but we had some movement there. So, but you can see we had this range going on, and we did break out and fail, and we tried to go out a couple more times and continued to fail. And you can see we really after that we just kind of hovered around that midline of this trading range. Same thing we kind of did in the morning, really. But 7 o'clock came. I think it was on this bar. It was one of these bars. It actually came between these two. So notice we had a new low down here. Some of you will probably want to count that as a first entry. That's not a first entry. That's just a double bottom, so your count would be over. So you get a first entry, and your second entry was when it broke below this bar right here. Does that close in the lower 1/3? I think it's close. So I marked it green. If you took that trade, I think you're okay. It's an easy scalp, and if you really wanted to hang all this pullback out, ride that out, you could have got even more out of it. But you should have got a quick scalp and probably been out of that one. So, um, but yeah, it is a second entry. Just count this as a new low, and you get a first entry and then a second entry when it breaks below that bar. And we were looking for prices to retest this low. You might expect prices to go higher here. So there's a chance some of you might have wanted to enter on the second entry right here, but it's an inside bar, so there's no entry. And then you make another little double bottom. So if you did want to enter long, it would be here. But by that time, that looks real congested, all of this. So I just sit tight and wait. The short would have been it for me. Um, and then we turn back down right here, break, move to a new low. And that would be a second entry long right there. Technically, it's not because you break higher right there by the counts. But that all still looks like one leg down. So to me, that's clearly two legs down. But it's also a triple test, so there's another reason to be interested in that trade. But I do think that's a new swing high right there, and I would count that as a little two-legged correction and another leg down. So that looks just like a second entry long. I marked it green because it's not. It's a little advanced. It's not a perfect second entry, but you do still have a triple test as well. So that's a good reason to enter it, regardless. You're away from the EMA as well. And then here you get a little quick second entry. It's technically this is just sideways, and this is just a chance to enter at the lows. But there's also a new high right there. So first entry, second entry. So you could look at it either way. It's definitely a higher low. It wouldn't be a tradable higher low as a higher low as we describe on its own. But I think you can call that a little range trade and also a two legs back to the EMA and the trend line. And then you get another second entry right here. Notice first entry, second entry, right off the key entry point. That confirms the key entry point. That's a good place to enter right there. And that turns out to be a nice move. Now, you might argue too there's a continuation failure here on a failed second entry short, but we're right at the overnight highs. And we had just turned down there. And so unless you have enough room to get out, which there's exactly 1.5 ticks there to that high, so you're really kind of pushing it. I mean, you might argue for that to be green. I'm not crazy about it. I think you're too close to the overnight highs, but maybe you take that trade. It turns out to be a nice move. You would have got a runner on it. And then we run over here and we get the break, and we try to go higher two more times. We get a break and two legs up, but we don't quite make a new high there. We just get a 1, 2, 3, 4 test of that high, and on that second entry there, I think you can go short. And you don't know if it's going to reverse or not. You're just looking for a scalp, but it could reverse because we do have a break, and we've tried to go higher twice there. We actually tried to go higher 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We move down, we get in another little sideways, and then it just continues to kind of chop lower. And there's another second entry here, but that's an inside bar, so you can't really enter on that. And we do get a break and two legs to a new low, and then it reverses. Now again, you might have considered going long here because this is played out to the downside, but it's right there at the overnight highs and lows again, and it's just dangerous to go long right there. It ends up working, and there is a 2-bar matching low, so you could go. Let me zoom in here a little more. So you could go long. I believe that's a 2-bar matching low. Let me make sure I'm not wrong there. 58.25. Yeah, it is 2-bar matching low. So you could go long there. I mean, maybe you give that a green, but I'm just not crazy about it. But it runs up, turns right back down, and just a first entry there. And then there was a second entry, but it's the same thing as here. Once again, you're kind of stuck. We're hovering back and forth over that support resistance, and it hadn't really determined. We can't really tell if it's going to be support yet or resistance. The market is not really giving us a good clue. We need a good trend moving out of there, or a few tests that hold like a triple test, and we just hadn't got that yet. So again, you might argue for it to be green and say, okay, but it's right into the EMA too. I can't even give that a green one. I'm not going to do it. But notice you got at least 3 bars there, so that's a trend up, and you get a close outside, move to a new high, and that's a second entry short, and that's right along possible highs of this range. So I kind of like that one. It took it a minute to move on down, but it does. And it bounces down here, but we're really making lower highs each time, so I don't think you can go long there. Plus, you're in this downtrend. This is actually a little steeper. It's moved somewhat for some reason or another. And then we're just continuing to kind of work sideways. We do get a break here, And that is a second entry short, but no signal bar. And that takes us into 1 o'clock. So you don't want to do anything in here. And you can see the news comes out at 1 o'clock right in here, and it jumps up and then turns down, and then we're just kind of sideways there. And I don't see any trades here I'd want to take. You do have a failed breakout here that breaks out of this little tight channel, plus it breaks out the overnight again, but we've already pushed through there several times, so I don't trust it. You still might go short there if you had a break of this channel and a new high, but you don't. And so you get a break here and then move to a new high. But that's just a first entry right there, so I don't even think you can go short right there. So see if you get a lower high or whatever, and you don't, and just the bottom falls out of it. And then we're right back down here into the range again. But notice what happens. We get a break, a couple of swings to a new low, and we also get a triple test right there. You might look at that. That's actually a new swing high because you had a swing high here, and that one went higher. So you get a first entry and a second entry right there. It's more sideways stuff than anything, so I think you treat that like a triple test. This is the main reason you enter, but it is 2 legs back, and you're a little ways from the EMA, so I like going long there. It runs up and just turns down. You do get a second entry right here, but I think that's still, these are 2 separate trends, and I hate to really count that as a second entry, but technically it is, because there's a new low, first entry, second entry. That's not really a trend. There's 3 bars there, but this is the lowest one, so there's only really 2 trending ones there. They're mostly sideways, and it is congested, so I think you have to just sit there. But guess what? You get a second entry long here. It actually breaks lower and fails and turns up. So it was actually a second entry when it broke above this bar, but still you can wait till this one. You need to wait till this one closes, and you can still go long 1 tick above that one. Even though it was a second entry when it broke here, it's still the same bar, so you can go long there. And that turns out to be a nice move. We get a break, a move to a new high, and it tries to make a second leg up and fails. And that is a second entry short. Notice the new swing low there. It was lower than this one. We went higher there and then turned back down. So first entry, second entry. So that's not only a triple test, it's a second entry short. And we do have the break of this channel right here and a couple of legs up to a new high. And so I like going short right there. There's a lower high here, and you might enter that on the engulfing bar, but because the EMA's right there, I'd just skip it. I think you have to skip that. But we do get a close outside and a new low here, and we get another test of that low, and that's another second entry long. It's right at 230. It's like 230 and 17 seconds, so I think it's still close enough to the 230 mark that you can go long there. And that's another nice move. It moves pretty good up. Moves up pretty well. So, and that took us into 230. So kind of a quiet day today, especially for an FOMC announcement day. But, I don't think anybody was expecting any rate change. They pretty much made it clear that they don't really want to lower rates, but I think it's also pretty clear they can't raise rates yet because of the situation we're already in with the housing market and other things. So I think it's just going to be kind of status quo until they have to lower them again, maybe. But it is what it is. There it is for the day, and that's going to wrap it up for the week. And this is going to be a pretty quick one. I haven't had a chance to get into the forum today, and I'd like to at least take a quick look in the forum. So I'm going to wrap this one up, get it uploaded early. It's only about 3:30 now, so there's still another 30 minutes in the market today. So we could close lower or higher yet still, based on what you're looking at now. We'll get that last 15 minutes. The market usually moves pretty quickly in one direction or the other. So we could close higher, or we could close lower. I'm not sure what's going to happen yet. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the extended weekend. I'll see you on Monday. I'm done for today, done for this week. There actually will be, I'll come in Friday morning. There will be a mid-morning chart. So we'll have that Friday. Just no chart lesson on Friday. And somebody sent me a trade example, and I may try to upload that on Friday for you, so you just have something to study and something to view there. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back Monday. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.